Episode 4. Liddy!
So sick, boy, better call a doctor. My team ballin' like the Knickerbockers.
Let's get to it!
Rim rockers, silk shockers, so your hands up like Serge Ibaka.
Episode 4. I am Jay East, and we're going to be talking about the high five of growth still. For this episode, we're going to be talking about spiritual growth. Yeah. Hope you guys can hear me well. I'm on my roof. We are using the Rode mic, so I'm hoping that it's working out. I'm hoping you guys can hear me really clear. It's a little windy up here. It's a little cool because we finally have hit autumn. But it's all good. So, let's get into it. Spiritual growth. We're going to be talking on a couple of different things. We're also going to be touching a couple of different topics. One of the things that we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about beliefs. See, when people hear spiritual growth, or when people hear the word spiritual, they automatically assume that it's talking about religion. This is not necessarily talking about religion. It could be about religion, but it doesn't have to be about religion. See, spiritual growth encompasses a little bit more than just religion. One of the things that spiritual growth talks about is it talks about being able to understand your own beliefs and others' beliefs. So that could be their, religious beliefs. That could believe, their ethical beliefs. It could be so many different things. There are a lot of different things that people believe in. It doesn't necessarily have to be necessarily about God or about religion, about Buddhism or about Christianity. It doesn't have to be anything about that. But one of the things about spiritual growth is being able to take a step back and understand that other people's beliefs may have some merit or value to them too. See, not necessarily everything that we believe in is true. We would like to believe that everything that we believe in is true, but other people have other opinions, and if everything that we believed in was true, then everything that they believed in is true. And there will be a giant contradiction, and there'll be a lot of hypocrisy. So we have to be able to understand that it's not all going to be true. You have to kind of figure out what part of your beliefs or what you believe spiritually is true versus what someone else believes may be true too, which means that something that you may believe may be wrong. So it's just being able to be aware of that, being able to be aware of other things. Sirens are a little loud. So when I started on this course towards growth and understanding all these different things, one of the things that I did is I wanted to go out and I wanted to get a book or get a couple books on different people's religions and on different beliefs and different things that people believe in. And I wanted to study that because I wanted to see what's similar in all of the religions versus what might be different in all of the religions. And one of the things that I realized was there's a lot of similarities that I don't even think that people realize. Some of them you do, like, loving everyone and loving your neighbor and, just trying to, be friendly to others. That's kind of understood in every single religion. But there's other things in all of the religions that are similar too, that if you're just a little bit willing to be open to, experiencing and checking out different things, you'll see so many other things that are similar between Hinduism and Buddhism and between Judaism, between the Catholic beliefs and the Christian beliefs. There are so many things that are similar. There's a lot of things that are different, but you'd be surprised because you kind of got to start with the similarities. But first, you have to be willing to be open to even check them out. So many people just want to believe in their own thing that they don't even want to see why someone else may believe in another religion. Or, I'll give you a crazy one, some people don't even want to understand why there are people that are atheists. Atheism is a belief as well. So that's why when I say it's not necessarily about religion, I mean, it doesn't have to be about religion for it to be a belief. One of the other things too is when you start to look into spiritual growth, you have to understand that that encompasses mindfulness as well. And when I say mindfulness, I mean mindfulness for your core or for your spirit. See, it's easy for us to think that mindfulness only means, you know, being mindful of different things and clearing your mind, but it goes deeper than that. Mindfulness is an entire body experience. That's your entire being. So when I say that, that means it also encompasses your spirit. This means your spirit energy. Now you're gonna hear a lot of people mention spirit energy and chakras and good energy and bad energy, and I'm gonna mention them a couple of times here too. Specifically, I'm going to be focusing on good energy and bad energy, but when I say your spirit energy, I mean the energy that you actually get from inside yourself to do the things that you do, or to understand the things that you understand. It goes bigger than just your mental. The other thing that falls into your spiritual growth is going to be your thoughts. And when I say your thoughts, I mean positive thoughts and negative thoughts. Those two are huge, and the reason why they're huge is because your thoughts dictate the way how you will go about your day, and people don't always realize that. Just having a positive thought or a positive outlook on things can change your entire perspective for the day, can change how everything else goes for you for the day. Having a negative thought or a negative perspective can also change things for you in a bad way. So this also goes with your spirit, because if you're walking around with a lot of negative thoughts and a lot of negative energy, then you're gonna have a negative spirit kind of following you around, and because of that, everything else is gonna end up kind of going negative for you. And it doesn't have to be like that. It can be the exact opposite. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to fake being positive or, you know, fake energy. You don't have to do that. All it means is just try not to dwell on negative things. At the same token, I would say you don't want to dwell too much on positive things either, because eventually what will happen is by dwelling too much on positive, you will actually end up leading to negative things happening, because eventually that's gonna run out. That positive thoughts and just kind of, you know, forcing yourself into positive, it's not real. So when it runs out, now the negative things are going to start happening to you, and if you don't know how to navigate, then it's going to be really tough. This is also going to fall into one of the things when I talk about emotional growth, but just to kind of stop and dwell on that for a second, you have to be able to go in and out of positive and negative thoughts by understanding why they're happening. You don't have to like why they're happening, but understanding why they're happening and then knowing how to deal with that. That's the catch. So, you know, a lot of people say, oh, don't have negative thoughts, but you can't help it sometimes. Sometimes you're gonna have negative thoughts, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you can't have negative thoughts. It means when you have those negative thoughts, try to figure out where they're coming from. Try to figure out where that negative energy is coming from, and try to address that. If you can address it, or if you can figure out where it's coming from, then you can solve the problem. And as soon as you solve it, the opposite of negative is positive. So now you'll find yourself in a positive light, in a positive energy. If you find yourself kind of dwelling too much looking for positive things, then just try to figure out why you're doing that. And then just try to find a balance. The trick is a balance. All of this is balance, but especially with spiritual growth, you have to have a balance. Too much of a good thing is a bad thing. Too much of a bad thing is a bad thing. So you want to have a balance between the two. The other reason you want to have that balance is because thoughts will become actions, and then those actions will become more thoughts that will then become actions. So you want to put positive thoughts into action. You don't want your negative thoughts going into action. And you don't want negative actions leading to more negative thoughts. See, it's like a crazy chain. It'll just kind of keep going around and around and around. Like, you don't want that to happen. You want to break the cycle. And in order to break the cycle, it starts with your thoughts. It starts with your energy. It starts with your spiritual outlook on things. The other reason that you need to try to develop this spiritual growth is because it will also lead to spiritual wholeness. So when I say spiritual wholeness, I mean finding your center, being able to put positive things in and being able to get positive things out. And what I mean by that is, I mean being able to do positive things for yourself, which will then lead to you being able to do positive things for others, and vice versa. Being able to do positive things for others that will lead to you doing positive things for yourself. See, that's the other aspect about this. All of this growth is good for yourself, but it's also good for yourself because it's good for others. It'll lead to you being able to do other things for other people that you normally wouldn't have thought you'd be able to do. This is why growth as a whole is great, but this is really why the spiritual growth is great, because once you start to grow spiritually with yourself, you'll be able to put out other good energy for other people that will lead to good things happening for other people too. But again, it's really important that you're not being fake while you're doing this, okay? You don't always have to walk around and act like everything is great. That's a false bravado. Like, you don't have to do that. If you want to do that, you can, but it won't always work out, and eventually it'll lead to bad things. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to be real with yourself. Be real with your spirit. However you're feeling is how you're feeling. Deal with it. If you're feeling negative, try to figure out why you're feeling negative. Try to figure out what it is, and then once you figure out what it is, then work on it. If you can't figure out what it is, then yeah, if you want to, you know, do a couple of positive things to see if you can shake yourself out of the funk, you can do that too. But you still got to go back and figure out where that negative energy was coming from. And another big aspect to really think about is, how content are you with your life? Now, when I say that, I don't necessarily mean being content and saying that's it, I'm content. No, I mean being able to look at how your life is currently going, and are you able to see the good things that are happening in your life that you're content with? And are you able to see some of the bad things that you might not necessarily be content with, but that you can deal with? See, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to happen in life that you won't always be able to fix or won't always be able to adjust. That's part of life. Again, it goes back to the balancing thing. It goes back to this whole, you know, trying to find that balance. But once you find it, you're usually going to see that that means that some good things are there and some bad things are there. But you have to be content with both. We can't have everything. Contrary to what people will make you believe on Instagram, it isn't all good. Contrary to what people will make you believe on Facebook and on all these other different social media platforms, it isn't all good. There's a lot of bad mixed in with the good. It's just what people choose to show you is only the good. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're the most positive people in the world. It just means that's what they want to show you. Spiritual growth is being able to be content with the good things that you have and not having to look for more. Being able to be content with a good job that you have and not want to find something that you think is greater and it's not necessarily greater. At the same time, it's also being able to be conscious of the fact that there are some bad things happening that you're not content with and dealing with them. But being able to see that there are some bad things that are happening that you're not content with, that's out of your control. See, you can only deal with things that are in your control. If it's not in your control, then how are you really going to deal with it? It's kind of hard to adjust to that. So that's one of the things, you know, think about too when you think about this whole spiritual growth thing. The other thing is you have to think about your energy consumption and your energy reservation throughout the entire spiritual growth process. And I'll tell you why. Think about yourself as a superhero for a moment, right? Because technically you are. You're a superhero. It's just, what kind of superhero are you? Follow me on this, because I know this sounds crazy so far. But you're a superhero. You have a superpower. But if you're always using the superpower, eventually you're going to be drained, right? Right. So think about your positive energy and your negative energy as one of your powers. And when your positive energy runs too low, by default, it kicks into negative energy. So you want to be able to use your positive energy, but you don't want to use all of your positive energy, because if you do, then you yourself will be drained. Again, this goes back to the balance. And if you're drained, if a superhero is drained of their powers, then they're no longer a superhero. Now they're somebody that had powers that's just kind of weak and they're susceptible to anything and everything. So you don't want to use all of your powers. You don't want to use all of your energy. You don't want to use all of your good spiritual vibes. You want to use it when you need it. Use it when you see other people need it. But also know when to stop and to dial it back and reserve that for a more important situation. See, if you wake up in the morning and you start off your day and you're just using all of your energy and you never refuel, what's gonna happen? Eventually you're gonna run out, you're gonna gas yourself out, you'll be exhausted before the end of the day even comes by, and you'll still have a bunch of things that you had to do that you didn't do. But if you're pacing yourself and you're using your energy here and there and you're knowing when to rest and when to take a step back, then it'll last you a little bit longer. The other important thing to think about is what I actually just said, fueling. You have to understand how to fuel yourself. And this is where that whole spiritual growth, when I started off and I was talking about other beliefs and other concepts and other religions, this is what I was talking about. Because some of the places that you could get positive energy from are not the internet. Actually, most of the places you're gonna get positive energy from is not the internet. There's some good things on the internet, like this, but there's a lot of other things on the internet too that can sap you of your good positive energy. What you want to do is you want to find something that will help you refuel, whether that's reading, whether that's meditating, whether that's praying. Different people do different things. It's all up to you to figure out exactly what works for you. Once you figure out what works for you, that's what you have to use to refuel yourself. And then once you know what it is, make a conscious effort to refuel during the day. You don't want to only fuel up in the morning and then go on a long trip and then run out of gas. It's the same thing. You don't want to only fuel up in the morning and then halfway through your day or 3/4 through your day or near the end of your day you're tanked and you're running out of fuel. You want to fuel up during the day. So pick your moments. This is why sometimes it's good to take 10 minutes to yourself of mindfulness. This is why sometimes it's good to just kind of take a moment to take a step back and look at how things are going. Try to settle your mind, settle your thoughts, calm yourself. Cleanse yourself almost of all of the bad vibes that might be around you or that they might be trying to put around you. And in the process of doing that, you're kind of fueling yourself back up. Doesn't mean that you have to go out there and say a bunch of positive things. What it means is just don't focus on the negative things. So then later, now you can actually, feel yourself still having some positive energy left at the end of the day. Being able to say like, oh, okay, cool, I still got a little bit more. Being able to take a moment back to realize it's not as bad as you might think it is. It's big. So try it. Just try it. Try to fuel during the day. Again, remember, you're a superhero. And a superhero is only good to people if they can help others. And again, even though you're going to be helping yourself when you grow, ultimately you're going to be helping others too. And that's the best part about it. That's the best part about growth, any growth, especially spiritual growth. You're going to be able to help others and you can feel that you're helping others. And that's really what we're here for. We're here to help others, we're here to love others, and we're here to just try to be a community. No one's an island, no man's an island. That's a common saying, and it's true. If you are all by yourself in this world, it's gonna be really hard to deal with things. That's why these videos are great, and that's why just being able to have a positive energy and showing it to others when you do have it is great too. I know it's one of these things where if you're shy, you might have positive energy to share, but you're afraid to share it because you don't know how people are going to deal with that. Don't think about other people. Like, just do what works for you. If it works for you, then do it. If it doesn't work for you, then don't do it. That's part of this whole spiritual growth thing too. It's being able to look inside of yourself and being able to see, okay, what works for me and what doesn't work for me. Maybe some of the things that I'm saying in this video won't work for you. And maybe some of them will. Doesn't mean you have to go out and implement everything, including the stuff that's not going to work. No, it means take a moment, try to figure out what works for you, and then implement those things. Those are the things that you want to use. Those are the things that you want to do. Those are the things that you want to dwell on, and then use that so you can keep building yourself up. And that's really it. There isn't anything else to it. Like, it's not this big, you know, fancy, weird thing, weird concept. Nah, man, it's real easy. This is what it is. It's pretty straightforward. And I hope that I've been able to tell it to you in a straightforward way where you can actually use it for yourself. I hope you liked the video. If you did like the video, please feel free to subscribe, because I will be posting more. Please feel free to share the video with other people. If you didn't like the video, or there's something about the video that you didn't like, put it in the comments. Put it below. I will read the comments. If you don't want to put it in the comments and you want to send me a message directly, you can do that too. If you don't know how to find me, my email is on the YouTube channel, but you can always hit me up on social media. Just look for J East, J-A-E East, and you'll find me. Just like, subscribe, share, and just repeat. So till the next video, I'll check you guys out. Wah! Relax. Feel this. You know, I really wanted to record more on this side, but that is incredibly loud. So I'm probably gonna record on the other side of the building. Just wanted you guys to understand why I didn't walk around on this side too.